Media outlets keep pushing the narrative of an internet apocalypse. They promise complete darkness due to solar activity. But if we strip away the clickbait, this isn't a disaster movie script. It's a technical vulnerability we choose to ignore. Today we're going to break down the mechanics. No hype, just facts. We've built a civilization that is critically dependent on stable electrical pulses, and our star can send us a hello at any moment that could reset our entire digital infrastructure. We are in the crosshairs. The sun doesn't burn steadily. Every 11 years it reaches its peak activity. This isn't random, it's a cycle of energy accumulation. Sunspots appear on the surface. These are areas with massive magnetic fields, cooler than the rest of the surface. Think of magnetic lines as invisible threads running through the star. In these zones, these threads get tangled and stretched like steel cables under heavy load. When the tension becomes critical, they snap. This is called magnetic reconnection. At the site of the break, giant plasma loops form. When one snaps, it releases the energy of millions of hydrogen bombs. Billions of tons of charged particles are ejected into space, a coronal mass ejection. For this plasma, Earth is just an obstacle in its path. We are standing in the way of energy millions of times more powerful than any natural disaster on Earth. Now, the tech. The internet isn't in the air. It's made of massive highways on the ocean floor. They consist of several layers: steel armor, copper shielding, and optical fiber at the core. Fiber optics don't fear magnetic storms, but the signal repeaters? Those are vulnerable electronic nodes. They are powered through the copper casing by a constant DC current. A geomagnetic storm creates a fluctuating magnetic field. When it moves through the copper, it induces a parasitic current. It's like plugging a hairdryer into a 10,000 volt outlet. The repeaters simply fry. If one repeater fails 3 miles deep, that internet highway is dead. To fix it, you need a specialized ship to locate the cable and replace the node. That's not a matter of minutes, that's weeks. We've seen what happens when the sun gets angry. 1859, the Carrington Event, an impact so powerful that modern instruments would have gone off the charts. Back then, the telegraph was the only global network. When that plasma stream hit Earth's magnetic field, massive induced currents surged through the copper lines. Operators around the world were in the eye of the storm. Sparks flew from their equipment, telegraph paper caught fire, and the operators themselves were hit with electric shocks just by touching their gear. The most mind-blowing fact: even after operators disconnected the batteries, the lines kept working. They weren't drawing power from the stations. They were running on the atmosphere itself, which had become a massive generator. This was the moment nature physically hijacked our technology. If an event of that scale happened today, with copper veins running across the entire world's ocean floor, the consequences would be impossible to ignore. We aren't talking about sparks and paper anymore. We're talking about the collapse of the backbone networks that keep the global economy alive. Imagine it's night. Global infrastructure is running smoothly. Data is traveling at the speed of light. Logistics chains synchronized to the microsecond. But suddenly, sensors on main substations register a massive spike in magnetic flux. The CME has arrived. Phase 1, grid reaction. In a fraction of a second, induced current enters high voltage lines. Transformers designed for 50 or 60 hertz get hit with DC bias, which blinds them. The transformer begins to overheat instantly. Circuit breakers trip one after another, trying to save the hardware from exploding. For a metropolis, this looks like an instantaneous blackout. Cascading failures happening faster than an operator can process the cause. In 2022, SpaceX lost 40 Starlink satellites to a geomagnetic storm. They simply couldn't reach their operational orbit because atmospheric drag spiked during the flare. That's a clear example of why space is unforgiving, but there won't be an apocalypse. First, we have an array of satellites, SOHO and SDO. They sit at the Lagrange points and watch the sun 24/7. We know about a dangerous plasma ejection 1 to 3 days before it hits Earth. That's plenty of time for grid operators to put equipment into safe mode or shift loads. Second, the internet is a giant web. If one segment freezes during a storm, BGP routing protocols instantly reroute traffic through other pathways.